You felt it. You didn't fix it. Your emotions showed up and you didn't know what to do next. Welcome to today's episode of Tea and Truth. And today we are talking about how your emotions play into the situation of developing your thoughts and how you feel about yourself. Now, listen, today we're going a little deeper because after the loss, after the choices, after the thoughts, there were feelings. Now, yesterday, we went to an oldie but a goodie. We talked about the Golden Girls. We talked about Dorothy. And we talked about Dorothy and her little toy puppet, Scout. Now, Scout was a stick with a sock and some buttons for the eyes. That's it. Scout came up missing because Sophia had given Scout to Dorothy's sister Gloria and didn't tell her. Okay? So Dorothy didn't just lose a stick with a sock on it. She felt something. Hey, Michelle Brown Russell, I have peach tea and lemon. Y'all tell us what you're drinking when you come in here. She felt something. She felt disappointment. She felt hurt. She felt let down. And even though it may have looked like something small, because clearly her mama didn't think about how much it meant to her. Because it's a stick with a sock on it. I mean, for real. It was real to her. And that feeling stayed. It stayed long enough. They set the stage. It stayed long enough that when the thought of the stick with the sock on it came up, Dorothy had some whole emotions. Hey, Kristen. Dorothy had some whole emotions. Dorothy felt upset. She said, her mama said, "Yeah, I'm sorry about the stick thing." And Dorothy, what stick thing? And she's like, the stick with the sock and the buttons for the eyeballs. And Dorothy literally says, "Scout? You know where Scout is?" This is something that, according to how they set it up, happened when Dorothy was a child. Dorothy good and grown, got grown kids. That tells you something. That just because the time had passed since Scout came up missing, it doesn't mean that the feeling that she felt of disappointment, of loss, of hurt, about Scout, about the stick puppet sock, those feelings were never processed. Now, let me help you with something right here because, and this helped me too, because we often use emotion and feelings in the same way, that they're interchangeable. And honestly, they're actually not. Emotions are what you feel immediately upon when something happens. That's right, Michelle. Holding probably did affect her in ways that she wasn't even aware of. And we talking about her like she a real person. But her character, it impacted her character in ways that we notice on the show. Dorothy often goes back and says, when I was a child, when we were growing up in Brooklyn, like everybody, Rose got back in St. Olaf, Blanche been a virgin 19 times and then had, 21st times. And so Dorothy often reflects back on things in childhood that have impacted her into adulthood. That, even though Dorothy is a fictional character, those occurrences and how we process things, those things are actually realistic. And so emotions are your immediate automatic responses. Emotions happen quickly. They are your body and your mind reacting to something in the moment. Feelings is what happens after the emotions. Feelings are the interpretation of the emotions. Feelings are shaped by your thoughts. Feelings are shaped by your intellect. Your intellect seeks to assign a meaning to something. That's the part of your soul that seeks to assign a meaning to a happening or something like that. I talked about this at the first of the year. You can go to my YouTube channel and look at all of the teachings on the soul, on the different parts of the soul that I did at the first of the year. Okay? So the feelings are the interpretation of the emotion that's shaped by your thoughts, your beliefs, and the meaning that you attach to what happened through your intellect. So the emotion might be hurt. The yard man has showed up. So I got all this extra noise around me. Hold on. Okay. So the emotion can be hurt. The feeling becomes, this always happens to me, or I must not matter, or I can't trust anyone. Those are feelings. Do you see how those become beliefs? And do you see how those beliefs become uh, limiting beliefs, lies, if you will? So the emotion is the signal. The feeling is the story. If you leave either one of them unprocessed, the whole thing is going to stay. This is what happened to Dorothy. The emotion happened in the moment. The emotion happened when Scout came up missing, the stick sock puppet. But the feeling, the meaning attached to it was never addressed, because if you watch the show, you find out that Dorothy always feels like the other sister was treated better. Always. If you follow the story in the other episodes, you find out that Dorothy thought Gloria was the favorite. Gloria thought Dorothy was the favorite. Gloria got treated in a way that she got all the things that she wanted and this, that, and the other. Gloria thought Dorothy was the favorite because Dorothy was always the one that was left in charge and had all the responsibility, and is the one, even in adulthood, that Sophia turns to when something is wrong. Those thoughts became feelings and belief. And meanwhile, Sophia over there going, I love both my daughters the same. So the feelings and the meaning attached to those feelings never got addressed. We back on Scout. We back on Scout. Because again, for those of you who just came, we're talking about emotions and how they don't run us. We have to understand that emotions and feelings are not the boss of us. They might feel like they ought to be, but they are not. So this is where, back to Dorothy and the stick and the sock. So her feelings stayed under the surface. Hey, Kim. Her feelings stayed under the surface until something triggered it and brought it back up. Now, here is where forgiveness comes in. Forgiveness is one of the ways that you process your emotions. It's not the way, it's not the only way. It's the way that I've been called to talk about. It's not ignoring what happened. It's not pretending that it didn't hurt. Forgiveness, and here's the definition for the class. Forgiveness is choosing to stop allowing your feelings to be noticeably changed because of persistent ill will. Persistent ill will is nothing but hostility, feeling some kind of way towards someone who has wronged you or hurt you. So, forgiveness just means you are no longer allowing, you are choosing to not allow. Hi. I can't pronounce the first word, but hi, Miss Miracle. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. So, forgiveness is meaning that you are no longer allowing the hurt to keep stirring up the same emotional response in you over and over and over and over again. You're making a decision. You're taking charge. You're taking control. And this is what I want people who live in this space of being in control of everything. So you're probably in control of everything or trying to be in control of everything because whatever hurt you was out of your control. And so you develop all of these self protective practices. And you develop this thing that says, I'm going to take care of me no matter what. And, you know, I can't trust nobody because every time something happens, here this happens again. And so I would present to you that in order to get out of that stage, because that's exhausting because I did it, that if you take control of how your feelings operate versus trying to control everything else around you outside of you, then you're taking control of your life and your emotions and your soul, and it'll put you in a better space. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Miracle. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Um, so you're making a decision. And that decision helps bring your emotions back under control so they don't keep resurfacing in the same way. Now, does this choice mean that the hurt goes away instantly? It does not. But if you keep making the choice that you're not going to let your feelings be noticeably changed, if you keep making that choice, then you will find that the hurt does lessen over time. And then one day you'll realize this does not hurt me anymore. Ask me how I know. So you're no longer feeding the feeling by stuffing it down. If you don't process your emotions and your feelings, they start influencing how you respond, how you interpret situations, how quickly you react, how deeply you trust, how easily you shut down. Unprocessed emotions don't stay quiet. They get louder over time. And this is where we bring some balance. Because what I'm not telling you is I'm not telling you ignore your feelings. That's part of the problem. We just play like this is all right. I'm gonna just move on. I'm gonna just let it go. Those are all ways that we ignore the reality of the fact that whatever they said, whatever they did, whatever they didn't do, whatever I lost, whatever changed, whatever shifted, whatever happened, it hurt me. It hurt me and it hurt me bad. And I'm upset and I'm angry and I'm disappointed that this thing happened. Whatever your scout incident was, the feelings, the emotions that you had, and the feelings that were attached to it afterward, they're valid. They're completely valid. They're completely real. They are completely not in charge. You don't let your feelings decide your behavior because the way that it happens is you have a thought, you have a feeling, your feeling impacts and influences your behavior and your choices, and your behavior and your choices impact your result. And most times, when you make a choice and you choose a behavior based on your feelings, then the result that you get is not going to match the result that you want. So you don't let your feelings run roughshod over your choices. Your emotions are signals and your feelings are stories, and they're showing you that something needs attention. They don't tell you what to do next. But once you recognize that, oh, my feelings might be having my feelings might have a little bit too much influence in what's going on, then it's at that point that healing can start taking place. Because at this point, when you say, oh, these feelings, did I make this choice because I was mad? Did I make this choice because did I choose not to go after that promotion because I was angry because of how that person treated me 3 months ago? Did I miss out on some money because I was mad because I didn't want to fool with this person over here because of something stupid they said? Maybe I should exercise some forgiveness. So if you don't if you don't acknowledge your feelings and if you don't take some time to heal from what hurt you, then it can help you. Now, this is not, like I said, this is not the only way to process your feelings, right? But when you leave hurt and anger and those things within you without expressing forgiveness towards those things or those people, that those things that have hurt you, science does say that it increases your blood pressure. It increases the level of anxiety. It increases the amount of cortisol that is dumped into your system, and that does impact you, right? So it is imperative that you take care of your inner self. It is imperative that you take care of the things that you feel and not just let them sit inside of you, um, just growing and festering, if that makes sense. So now instead of running from what you feel or reacting out of what you feel, you slow down and you ask, why did that hit me like that? What did that mean to me? What do I believe underneath this feeling? That's where the work comes in. That's the space where you start actually addressing what's going on inside of you. And when you start doing that, then they don't keep resurfacing. They don't let you get triggered as a much. Your feelings don't keep controlling your reactions. So your feelings are real. They don't have to rule. They should not rule. So they don't have to keep showing up in places that they don't belong. You ever been talking to somebody and they start talking and then all of a sudden they get real emotional and your first thought is like, oh God, who hurt you? Or oh God, they real bitter. That's reacting to some hurt that hasn't been processed. Because people who are hurt, you've heard the saying before, people who are hurt other people. Niggas be bleeding all over everybody that's all around. And we say stuff casually like they need to get over that. But oftentimes people don't know how to get over that. But it's because they're walking around with these unprocessed hurt feelings. So the goal is not to stop feeling. The goal is to feel, to understand, and you still be in control of your behavior and your results. Okay? That's it for today. That's it for today. I hope you found this helpful. This is your Tea and Truth teaching from Karen Booth. I am a certified confidence and forgiveness coach. And message me if you want to set up some sessions, because that's what I do. So, y'all be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Tomorrow, let's see, we've talked about mind, we've talked about will. Today was emotions. Tomorrow, we will talk about the intellect and unforgiveness. All right. So come back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right. See y'all tomorrow, 4:30. Bring something to drink. You can have tea time with me, Tea and Truth, tomorrow, 4:30. Y'all have a good day.